Hey guys, it's me again, Orc Slayer to What If. So where we last left off, let's see, checking. So, where we last left off, man. Well, Deku was kidnapped, someone was saved, shot up all for one after trying to run around with the League of Villains after him. As he was trying to escape, he saw All Might being pretty much on the back end, like him being super weak, and All for One getting back up. He's like, start firing at All for One, trying to distract him. He eventually was able to, he helped that woman that was supposed to be, like, that All Might stood in front of, was leaving, got called by his dad, pretty much was given his guns, and helped them take down All for One. And now we cut to where he leaves off. They don't really have that scene where Deku, like, they have to just, All Might has to try and convince Inko and such about, like, letting Deku come to the thing. Instead, pretty much he's already there. And when Deku's walking around there, this is like a scene I'm coming up with my own. He's approached by All Might. He's like, "Hey, kid." He's like, "Oh, All Might." As Deku's walking to him, he's like, "You got your weapons?" He's like, "I ain't taking any more chances." Probably the only reason why is because, well, let my guard down for a second. So I'm gonna make sure I'm armed to the teeth every time I leave somewhere. I was given special permission since they said out of special permission I won't be allowed to use real bullets. Unfortunately. It's like, thanks, kid. I really mean it. It's like, it's no biggie. It's not like I had much of a choice. It's either distract him or watch you die. And you dying would have done a hell of a lot worse for the world. Well, anyways, I gotta get going. Probably gonna go train. Also, now that you're quirkless, if you want to learn how to use a gun, talk to me or my dad and we'll try to help you out. Well, see you, All Might. I gotta get my room squared away, you know, everything and all. He's like, All Might's like, "Oh yes, young Midoriya, thanks to you again." He's like, "No problem, partner." As he walks off, he's like, maybe I will take him up on that proposition. After all, everyone who didn't have quirks, the years protecting them all the same way, with a gun. Just imagine that comic, but replace Deku with Mirio. How will you protect yourself, All Might? He's like, the same way people without quirks always have, with a gun. Anyways, what Deku does is they get that whole room thing started off. They go through their courses as they typically would. I don't know what kind of special techniques Deku can come up with. He can just come up with, like, unique variations of weapon things. He's like, quick switch. He works on a few of them, I'll say. And now we're at the room contest, and when everyone walks into Deku's room, they're actually kind of impressed. He has his hero outfit on display in the corner, like I've told you how it was. Then they look around, they see like a pair of bull horns on the thing. Yes, he has like a very stereotypical room. He also has like a Native American style rug. It's like, wow, Deku, you really like that. You really do like the Wild West. He's like, yeah. And they even they look at like a collection of books or even movies, and they're not really old, movies, like black and white sometimes. And he's like, hey, if you guys ever want to just like hang out in like the living room, I guess was what I'll call it, just like sit down and watch some of these old movies, you guys just gotta ask. He's like, really, Midoriya? That'd be so awesome. As for the whole rescue effort, nobody really came for Deku, since nobody else, like, not even Kirishima, like, Deku was the only reason why I'll say Kirishima went is because he received support due to Deku. So I'll say he never went. Nobody even went. Like, a few people try to ask him, "Are you okay, Deku?" It's like, I'm fine. Those dumb, no, what's the word? Oh, yeah. Dumb, rotten piece of dungs couldn't do anything against me. You know, and all. It's like, you sure, Midoriya? You sure you're okay? It's like, it's fine. No, not like they took my quirk or anything. It's like, wait, they did? No? I just said they didn't, you idiot. As then he shoots his gun and hits a soda can that was directly behind the person who asked him. He's like, does that answer your question? It's like, yeah. It's like, alright then. He's like, so as they go on with their day, Deku doesn't feel like that all-encompassing guilt that he feels bad because All Might lost his power. Some people actually don't think that. Deku doesn't feel it either. He's like, no, this is something that's been happening for a while, most likely. I guess, seeing that injury on his side kind of makes sense. Well, nope, you never knew about it. Yeah, he comes to realization that All Might actually explained to him later. Like, Deku was curious and asked. He's like, so, why is All Might like that? As Snipes, he got hit pretty hard by that villain back there later earlier on. Or a villain. We don't know which one. Deku's like, I'm pretty sure it was that tough bastard back there, but go on. He's been losing his power every day, so slowly. He's like, as his dad's like, so don't think it's your fault that he ended up like that. He's like, of course not. What kind of idiot blames himself over that? It's not like he had a finite number of that resource left. It's gonna end one of these days. Anyone who knew about his secret ought to know that. Especially if he's been going on for a long period. God, tired. Shakes his head. He's like, well, I'm going, Pops, as he left. As Deku remembers that moment. As when it comes after, the Suyu and all that extra stuff that happens, they go to the whole, get their UA, I forget what's the word, their provisional, there we go, sorry about that for that pause, the provisional license. As they arrive there, Deku's like, as they get off the thing, a few people recognize them, a few people recognize him, because he doesn't have his hat on and everything, he's just, keeping it off for the moment. He's like, you're not wearing your hat, Deku? It's like, no point in wearing a thing. When it gets really bright, I'll wear it, as he just has a pair of sunglasses on. It's like, so, Aizawa, what are we doing here? He's like, no. As then they meet Miss Joke in her class. The guy comes around shaking everyone's hand, as Deku's like, yeah, no. He's reckoning, he's like, there's plenty of snakes that come all friendly. They look pretty, act nice, and then out of nowhere, bam, bite you right in the ass. As Deku doesn't shake his hand. It's like, well, everyone, let's get going. As they arrive at the place, Deku and them still have the whole thing. Deku asks a question, like, can I use my guns for this? It's like, yep. Yes, Mr. Midoriya, you are allowed to use your guns. She's like, sweet. So all you, watch out. He can immobilize you. Deku's like, alright then. He goes over to a crate and grabs an extra belt or so to shoot people with. He's like, these ones are higher grade. They should stop a person in their tracks with a single bullet. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to resupply. So he has 6 belts on. like full belt, full bandoliers, and then he has a couple of the things on his shoulder, like on his upper arms and such, and some on his legs. He's like, I'm coming on to the teeth. As he comes walking out, everyone's like, do you need any more bullets, Midoriya? He's like, yeah, I wish I could have a few more, but all I got are the 6 that are in these. He's like, and what about your rifle? He's like, hey, I left that. I don't really use it. And I'm feeling He's like, alright, everybody, as he puts on his hat. Let's make it clear. Sorry, mine. As he, like, goes... as he, like, takes a spit. We got a couple of enemies coming over. Probably gonna have a whole bunch of enemies rush at us. Guaranteeing that, since the UA Sports Festival is always put on show, they're gonna be gunning for us. So I'll say this. All y'all, be prepared, be quick, stay sharp. I'll try to cover all y'all if you save my premise. Otherwise, you're on your own. Understood? As he lets that, like, out. Someone's like, alright, Midoriya. As Bakugo and them, like, go off on their own. Like, everyone who goes off on their own does it as it initially does. As he's like, alright, all y'all. As he's like, they're over the ridge. As he starts letting off, like, shooting. Everyone, work together and stay together. As then eventually they all get separated. He's like, dang it. As he, like, has to dodge at one point, losing his hat. He's like, oh, come on. As he fires and rolling back over and grabbing it. He's like, huh. As he pretty much gets the amount of points he needs very quickly after shooting a bunch of people. And he has that encounter with Toga, as he typically does. She's like, got ya. I got ya, Uraraka. As he rolls and shoots at the people, she still tries to do the thing. As he's like, spins around, he's like, you thought you had me right there? I know Uraraka. She ain't one to give up that. She ain't one to be so clumsy. So... who are you really? As he has his guns pointed at the ready, she's like, oh, as she does the whole melting thing, he's like, what the? As then she gets close, then he's like, oh, as he kicks her. Sorry about that, ma'am. Oh, you're that weird cam girl or whatever. As he's about to shoot her, he's like, wait, he says this? As then Sero and Uraraka have that whole reaction. It's like, alright, how many have you guys found? As they go on, as they typically would, with Deku getting dozens, a couple of people, he's like, I got a couple of people down already. As he, like, empties out his rounds and then reload, it's like, Sarah's like, damn, man, you're really good at that. He's like, I know, right? He's like, so you, as then it's like, the first part of the practical exam is over. Everyone doing as they typically did. Deku's like, as Miss Joke's like, you weren't joking about that guy, Eraser. He really is his father's son. Like, yep, probably the best one, and he probably could beat most people in UA pretty easily. I'd say that even as with teachers. Even you, he's like, he could possibly beat me with his guns. Who do you think he can't beat, is what Miss Joke says. He's like, honesty? If All Might hadn't been forced to retire, that's the only person he couldn't beat. What about what were they? The big three at UA. He's like, oh, he could beat those ones alright. Oh, thanks to his quirk. He's trained long and hard with it, I can tell. She's like, how do you train hard with a quirk like that? He's like, focus on how many bullets you can shoot. See how we gave him a fully automatic rifle? Every bullet curved. He said before he can only do that with semi-automatic rifles. Every pull of the trigger he had to concentrate. Now using his quirk is just like, well, drinking, sleeping, anything really. Just comes natural to him. He's like, and that's all he knows? Oh, hell no. He knows close quarters combat. He knows how to hog tie people. He knows quite a bit for a kid his age. Usually it takes some heroes their entire career, well, not career, but like several, like over the entire 3 years that they typically become a hero. to actually learn that. Then more through those years to actually implement techniques. He seems to have everything down. It's funny, huh? As in, it's like they cut to the whole rescuing people act, as Deku's like, you know. He thinks about this, as they, like, find, like, instead of Bakugo finding those guys in the hole, Deku does, he's like, hey, Uraraka, float over there. As she does it, he then throws his lasso over. Now touch those two. And then she touches her, like, makes herself float as they all fly over. She does her throwing up thing. He's like, piece of hair. You're stupid. As Deku's like, anyways, as then there's the loud explosion, he's like, oh, shit. Uraraka, you stay around helping people. I'll go deal with that. As he says it again, walking towards the horde of people. He's like, you know, how many times am I gonna have to shoot a bunch of villains in a single day? Let's see, what's my record? Probably 20? Maybe 30. Maybe even more. I ain't entirely sure. The lesson is, as he gets to a vantage point, seeing Todoroki and that one dude bicker, he's like, dumbasses. As he uses his bullets, as he's like, what y'all doing down there? Todoroki, stop being an idiot and start focusing. As he moves in, he's like, y'all need to work together. Either freeze their asses, blow their asses away, figuratively, or literally in that case, or burn them. Either way, I'm fine. As he fires a bunch upon them. A few of them try to use their, like, weird cement gun things. As he's like, ain't gonna hit me like that, gentlemen. As one guy gets in close, he's like, okay, pistol whip. As he then is going to reload, but the Orca dude comes in with that sonic wave thing and just blasts him away. He's like, shit. As he went and roll, he's like, oh, that ain't good. Puts down a not flash bang, but smoke grenade. He's like, this is annoying. Slides backward. He's like, alright, asshole. As he gets his guns ready, he's like, let's do it. As he throws a bunch of flashbangs in the air, everyone else going like, what is that? As he, like, rushes forward, shooting dozens of them, quickly reloading as well. Eventually, even, like, until Gang Orca is the only guy left, he's like, what? So he looks around him, all his guys are down. He's like, now, Gang Orca, I would ask you if you would kindly get on your hands and knees, put your hands behind your back. As he's like, what, you think that thing's gonna work on me? Probably not. They will. As he dodges out of the way, as he gets engulfed in the inferno, he's like, good job for getting your heads out of your asses. It's like, Midoriya, he's like, I'm right and you know it, as he puts away his guns. As then he takes his lasso, it's like, your lasso's gonna burn up, Midoriya. He's like, no it ain't. As he, like, has it, like, as he runs around in circles, as it went tight around Gang Orca, like I said, he has had plenty of practice, runs around circles as he just starts slowly tying up Gang Orca, eventually walking over and just tying him up. He's like, well, you seem fine. Feel too tight? And he's like, oh, how humiliating. He's like, don't worry about it. You were sent after a guy with guns and a flamethrower and a tornado. What were you expecting to happen? Like, you got a point. Like, well, and then it's like everyone wins. Well, Todoroki and Bakugo still lose, technically, as they go on. Eventually coming up with the whole, you know, big three fight as Deku, since Deku doesn't really have to go fisticuffs with Bakugo, since Bakugo, like, actually learned that Deku saved him. So I'll scratch that. I'll say Deku, he, like, calls Deku out. He's like, what do you want, Bakugo? He's like, why? Is like, why what? Why are you acting so normal? All Might's gone. He's like, he's not gone. What do you mean? It's like, the symbol of peace is gone. He's like, well, I guess you're right about that. What the hell am I supposed to do? Feel mopey and sad about it? Is that what you would have done? Because right now, people need heroes more than ever. They find out a bunch of kids are whining, complaining. The new, fresh, young heroes at UA are upset that All Might's gone. That we're crying, whining, and kind of worried. What's that say about the New Hope? If even the New Hope is supposedly worried. Tell me, Bakugo, tell me, what is that supposed to mean? We gotta show fearlessness, right? Honestly, tell you the truth, I am worried, all honesty. But just cause I'm worried ain't gonna mean I'm gonna let others see it. Some wise words I heard once from a man. Or, well, All Might to be exact. He told me a little bit afterwards. I kinda told him I was worried what's gonna happen next. He's like, don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. Tell you the truth, I hate that fucking mindset, but you know, hey. It's what life is. So, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Gonna train my ass off, get out of here when it's time, and put a bunch of villains in jail. Or put them in the ground, if I feel like it. So, what about you? You gonna stay around, whine and complain like I said? Gonna feel bad? Gonna question me on why I don't? All Might, for something like this to happen to anybody, it had to be a long time coming, Bakugo. Learn that. As he walks away, maybe you'll learn one day or sooner or later, Bakugo. Maybe you learn just now. Stop looking at the present. Stop looking at, well, not present. Stop looking towards the future. Stop looking towards the past. Look towards the future, not future, the present. Stay here. Plan for things in the present, always. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm tired as hell. I'm going to bed. As there was no big fight, there was no need to. Deku just sort of talked Bakugo right into his senses, as Bakugo originally wanted to fight Deku out of the sense of, don't you feel bad for letting All Might get weak and die? Not die, but let the symbol of peace die? He's like, how am I supposed to stop symbol of peace dying? Peace is always relative, Bakugo. We ain't been at peace in ages. Villains run amok every day. There's a few wars going on. Does it sound like we're at peace? No, I thought it doesn't. Now I'm going to reiterate what I just told you. I'm going to bed. As he walks off, he's like, I suggest you do the same. It's going to be a busy day. These next few years, Bakugo, maybe even these next few months or even weeks or even days, gonna be a hell of a lot busier than any of us intended. As he walks home, or walks back to the place, he's like, God, you got me going on a monologue, dumb bastard. So he walks up. As Aizawa was like, where were you, Midoriya? He's like, Bakugo had something to talk to me about. But don't worry, nothing came to blows. It's like, So, how are you? He's like, I'm doing fine. I'm going to bed. As he goes to bed. Eventually, over that period of time, he still meets Mirio that one time. He's like, taking up trash. It's a good thing to do chores around the dorms, I guess, every once in a while. She throws it away. He meets Mirio, who's like, so, you're Snipes' son. He's like, yeah, you are? Name's Mirio. He's like, anything in particular you want, Mirio? He's like, no, not really. He's like, well, that's all. I got some trash put away. He's like, oh, alright. As then he's like, I'll be seeing you soon, Midoriya. He's like, yeah, Mirio. As he, like, throws away the trash. As then they come in then it's like the big three. Yay, Aizawa. As, shit, I forget his name. Sun Eater. There we go. Sun Eater, Nejire, and Mirio all show up, and it's like, hey guys, how are you doing? As Deku's like, oh, hey Mirio. It's like, hey Deku. It's like, you know him? Saw him a couple days ago. As then it comes off to that thing where they all fight. Deku's like, you know, this is getting real boring. Real stupid, I'll say. As they all fight, well, Deku actually sits out. He's like, I ain't interested in any fighting. I want to take it easy. Plus, I'm kind of thirsty. So, as he goes over and sits down by Aizawa, he's like, not gonna try to fight him, Midoriya. He's like, I ain't in the business of just fighting everyone. Because I want to fight Aizawa. I fight when I have to. Or when some dumbasses, as he, like, looks over at Bakugo, need some smackdown. He's like, why are you looking at me, Deku? He's like, you wanted to fight a few days ago. Just pointing that out. If you'd gone on any longer, I probably would have beaten the shit out of you, tell you the truth. As then he just, like, rests against the wall. Now, if you don't mind... I'm taking a nap. As he just falls asleep, he's like... Did he really just fall asleep? It's like, I think he did. Man. As then the class gets destroyed by Mirio. With all that being said, Deku and them still go off as they typically would. Now, I'm pretty sure the next events after the whole Mirio fight were internships, as they get him explained to him. He's like, so, you know, as a few kids, as Deku's walking by, he's like, you know, this is kind of stupid. They just keep on staring at me. He's like, well, anyways, why don't I? As he, like, gets called, would Izuku Midoriya please report to the office? He's like, well, this is interesting. So walks over, he's like, what up, Nezu? He's like, I'm sure you're aware of the whole internships. Well, yeah, internships, I believe are what they are. He's like, yeah. He's like, as you would know, there's a lot going on. So we were thinking, we think it would be a good idea for you, you student at UA, who fought alongside heroes, to go out and do a bit of hero work. He's like, alright, what agency are you signing me up with? Well, we got a few options lined up right here. But overall, we think if you could find a better solution near UA, it would be far better for you to do so. He's like, well, maybe I'll go talk with some other students who do the internships. You know, maybe they could hook me up. Or maybe even my dad could. Well, let's go see. As he spends a couple of days, he does have Night Eye on there. He's like, Night Eye. Interns. Mirio. Oh yeah, smiling guy. As he sits up, he's like, I'll go check out this. I'll go check with Mirio, you know. Seems like a nice guy, and either the person he works with is either nice, or he's very serious from the looks of it. And it's like, used to work for All Might. He's like, what the hell? As he's looking at it, he's like, now I gotta see this. As he puts the thing down, as he is not aware of the whole, how one for all is passed on in this. I'll just, like, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but that's just being made clear. Like, well, this will be interesting. As he's like, hey, Mirio, I need to talk to you for a sec. As he asks Mirio and such about the whole, you know, about all the thing. It's like, well, nothing much, Deku, but, you know, it could be worse, could be better. You really sure you want to come with me? He's like, might as well check it out, you know, never know. He's like, I guess that's good thinking, Deku. Well, come on then, I guess. As he starts walking with him. So, what's this guy like? As Deku brings out his, like, hero costume. He's like, you think if he signs me on today, he's like, if he signs you on today, you'll probably go out on thing immediately with me. He's like, oh, I don't mind that. As they come across the whole tickling scene, Deku's like, hell's wrong with him? As Muriel's like, you just gotta make him laugh. He's like, alright. He's like, hey, Muriel, hey, Night Eye, ever hear this joke? Two horses walk in a bar. They asked the bartender asked them why the long face. As Muriel's like, that's a bad joke, guys. Night Eye's like, funny. As Muriel's like, what the? As he helps him down, he's like, so why are you here? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You probably haven't been notified. UA wants me to do some hero work. Figured look good for the guy who fought alongside the heroes. He's like, oh, that's where I saw you from. As everyone else, like in the room aside from Deku, could tell that Night Eye's mood somewhat just got worse. Like, so, is that why you're here? He's like, yeah. Why did you choose me specifically? They gave me a list. I checked it twice. See who was not here nice. As he makes another joke as Night Eye's like, another one. So, what's your quirk? He's like, I shoot things. Things move when I shoot them. Both literally and figuratively. It's like, so, what makes you think you can win? He's like, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, well, as he, like, tells them to get out, take this from me and stamp your request form. He's like, sure, why not? As he asks Mirio, does he know? He's like, no one else at UA aside from us. As Deku's like, alright. As he reaches over to his suitcase and like, you brought your hero costume? He's like, yeah, I figured this is either an interview, or some sort of combat test. Either way, ought to be prepared, am I right? He's like, got that right. So, I guess we'll start on the count of 3, as then he just, Night Eye activates his quirk a little bit, and then immediately gets hit in the chest. He's like, oh! Muriel's like, what did you do? He's like, only an idiot waits for the countdown. As he walks over, grabs the stamp, he's like, I guess I'm in. So, Muriel, you said we probably go on a patrol? As Night Eye's like, oh, as he gets up, since it was a low charge round, he's like, don't worry, stop being a baby, he'll live. It's like, so, I won. He's like, aren't cowboys supposed to wait till they hear draw? He's like, unfortunately, Night Eye, I'd rather not take the chance. I saw what your quirk was. Though I'm confident you can't dodge a bullet, better safe to be than sorry. He's like, so me and Muriel go on patrol? As he lets off a smile and walks away. He's like, I'll go get dressed. As Muriel's like, sorry, Night Eye. It's like, no, don't be. Seems to be okay, kid. As he gets up, stamped it, alright. Alright, Muriel, go with them on the patrol. As they get the rundown about Eri. Well, not Eri, but overhaul and such. And that's where I'm going to be ending this one off at. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Hope y'all continue to enjoy it. And I hope y'all have a nice day, a nice night, nice life.